All right, so welcome. This is this is episode 1 of journey through knowledge. Uh, just take a ride with me. Just go down a journey. Take on a boat and go on a journey down the river known as life. Picking up berries and sticks, stones reaching in through the water, grasping at straws, and finding the truth that lies within. So in this first mega series, we're going to start out small though, very grassroots, and tackle some very basic topics and answer some very preliminary questions involved before going forward, to lay a groundwork, as it were, for future expansion, growth, wealth, all that. So this first episode will be about addressing some very basic topics. So let's get into those topics, shall we? Number 1, the metaphysics of being and existing. So we'll go ahead and just tackle this one. There's going to be some more we're going to address, but let's just go ahead. I'll go ahead and tackle this one. So the metaphysics of being. Okay, so first we have to break down what these words mean. So let's break down what they mean. Okay, so you've got something, right? This is something. And if something's metaphysical, let's break down what that word means actually, as well. So when something is metaphysical, we actually have to break down that word also. Meta, okay, so you've got something. Okay. This meta is outside of that thing. Directly related, however separate from its system or paradigm. I could give you an example, but actually it's not enough time. So we need to move on actually. So you got metaphysical, physical, being the second word. It is implying that the subject is physical and the object is physical. In this case, the metaphysical object is a physical subject. All right, biology. Let's just dive right in. And to understand biology, you first have to start with the correct building block origin. The first stage has to be correct. From that point forward, if you don't start from the correct viewpoint and belief, then you won't be able to understand. And even biologists struggle to understand. And that's something that I think is really worth thinking about, pondering, understanding. Is that even biologists, they are even in awe of this kind of knowledge and this kind of power, because it doesn't come to them, and it won't, because their eyes are scaled, my friend. So, but that's neither there nor here. So, okay, so Now that we've torn biology to shreds, now we can move on to some real hard-hitting questions. Some real smackers, as someone put it. And really start just answering some of the harshest questions that some just can't seem to ask, you know. To open, I'll just get this out of the way, who I am, you know, which isn't really important, specifically who I am, right? Specifically, my birth name is irrelevant, you know. What I've done in the past, irrelevant. What I plan on doing in the future, also irrelevant. And as such, who I am now is all that's important. Um, and so, who am I really? Right. To answer this question, you first need to understand some key points about me. Um, so when I was um, irrelevant, as it were, uh, I looked up to the heavens one night, sitting on the rooftop, some old dusty building somewhere in the outskirts of a village, somewhere. Like most days back then, I didn't really know who I was and where I was. You know, as many of us understand, as many of us have come to familiarize ourselves with, things get hairy from time to time. And I stared up and I said, there has to be something else. There has to be something. You know, I'm not meant to be here on this roof, dusty and alone. Of course not. I'm in for something better. Why would I be here? Why would I be here? I looked around and who did I see? People that I just couldn't relate to. You know, people that I looked around and I just said, they're not me. And I reached up with a hand towards the sky and I said, I just needed to see. I just need to see. That's it. A simple request from a simple man. And in a fiery instant, a second of blazing glory, a flash of images like I've never seen before in my wildest of dreams or my deepest of imaginations. The crazy machinations that could have appeared, birthed from my own mind, could never compare to the beauty and glory which now lay before me, behind my eyelids, shining in like a beacon. A beacon straight from God. Specifically, Jesus. Also, that's very important to add on there. Specifically, Jesus. And so, from that day forward, you know, I'm not going to try to explain what I saw. I'm not going to, because you're not going to believe me, and because it's too crazy, and you know, it's completely understandable why you wouldn't understand, unless you believe. And so I don't try to convince. I just try to give a little backstory as to why I might have some of this knowledge, some of this information that might seem kooky or crazy or wrong. It's because where I get my sources are from the creator of the universe. And because of that, the information gets a little jumbled coming through. Because, you know, I'm not perfect, right? I never said I was. You know, and that's the crazy thing about this whole thing too, is that when I was in that situation, it was just like, I know I'm not meant for this. Looking around, like I was like, like this isn't me. I knew I wasn't meant for this, right? But it doesn't mean that I'm some kind of special, genius, savant, saint, like they were saying. Or like, it wasn't anything like that. It was just sort of like, for some reason, beyond my understanding or my control, the big guy chose me, and guys, I've got no answers for you, and something that powerful coming through a brain, like I gotta tell you guys, it's not that good. I gotta tell you, this brain, it's it's flawed. I don't profess to be anything special. You have to understand me. But when the time comes, I know I'm always given the correct information. I just know. So, that was episode 1. Enjoy me as we journey further into knowledge. And don't be afraid. Come saddle up behind me. Use me as your source of strength and comfort as we journey down this treacherous road of knowledge, this river, plucking berries and all the things I said before. It's gonna be a wild ride, so sit back, relax. Uh, well, don't, because it's a crazy riverboat ride. Grip tightly to me, and I'll keep you safe. But we're going to be diving into some very interstellar topics. It's a little hint as to what I'll be talking about next time. It's just a little hint. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, any kind of information that you want to relay to me or anything like that, feel free. Feel free. All right. Well, I got, peace out, I guess.